We will start with implementing search. For that, before we write the code, we need to understand that how the data flow would be, how many methods we have to write, and how many states we have to introduce. So before we move to our coding part, let's go back to our whiteboarding. Now this is how our application is looking. Now what we want is that when someone is gonna type in input, this card list data, this card list should get re-render and show us the matching result. This is what we are expecting. So for that, we need to understand right now what is the current state of our application. So on our home page or home component, what we are doing is we are doing an initial API request, and we have a state name characters in which all our data is saved. Now when we are doing input search, whenever we are doing a search, we need a new state here. So this new state, what it will do is it will store the search characters. So whatever we have typed, it is gonna store in the new state. Now once this is happening, what should happen? This search term or characters, it should go and filter out our card list data and give us the matching result. But how this is gonna happen? This is the main thing. So for that, what we need to do is we need that whenever the user is typing, take this state and use a JavaScript method filter to get the matching result. But what we have to match? What we are doing is we are doing the match on name. So characters dot name. So whenever the user is typing in our input, we are gonna check if any character dot name is matching or not. If yes, it should return us that data. And that's what we are gonna do with filter. But on what this filter method is gonna run, because filter method needs an array on which it can run and try to match this condition to return us the matching data. So for that, we already have this API characters, our character state. We are gonna use this, and on this our filter method is gonna run. Perfect. Now we will get the matching result array. So what filter is gonna do is it is gonna return us the search result. And the moment we will get this search result, if I will go back and update this state, this card list will get re-rendered again. So at first level, what we have to do, we have to just take this input search parameters, use our filter method of JavaScript on our character state and return the search result, update the state again, and the card list will get updated. But there is a catch. The catch is because this API characters, this state, character state, is holding our initial API request data. Whenever the search will happen, this state will be gone. The initial state, the initial data will be gone. And unless and until we will not do a refresh, hard refresh, or do again API call, we won't be able to get that initial data again. So is it a good practice to override our initial data? No, it's not a good practice. So what we have to do is we have to get another state which will hold our init characters or init data. And then what we are gonna do is we are gonna do all this filter work on characters, and this init will hold our initial data. And why it is important? As I told you that initial data will be lost, that is already there. But whenever we want to show the original data in our UI, at that time it is gonna help us a lot. Okay, I can understand this is too much, but let's try to break it down more. So from this, what we understood, that first we will go step by step. To be honest, always go step by step. So from where we are gonna start, we will start with this step. We are gonna create a new state, and we are going to write a new method for the search. Once that is done, then the second step would be to do the search result thing. Okay, so this would be our second. So let's first start with the search one. So let's go back to our code and let's go to our home, because everything is happening on home. As I told you that we need to have a state, so we will have set search, sorry, this is a search characters, no, not search character, let's have search term characters, and we can have this is our first state for search. Now let's come here and let's write our method. The method is search term. We will take this, and whenever a user is typing, we will get e event, and we will have e.target.value. To show you that this is working, first I will do a console so that you can see that this is working. Let's put it here. Now where we are gonna call this? We are gonna call this here. So I can remove this and call it here, change handler. Let's go back to our UI. I will open my DevTools. Let's go here, refresh, and let's start typing. And you can see this is coming. Home JSX 13, and if you will go 13. So this is working. So in our search term characters, whatever we are gonna type, it will be available. So our first step is done. Now what is the next step? The next step is to do the search of the characters. So as I told you that I need two states. So the first state would be init, where my initial data would be. So I will write init data, and I will have my setter function, and this from right now this is blank. So what I need to do is, when I am doing API request get characters, here I will set it with this. Okay, so this is done. Perfect. So we have init data, we have characters. With the help of the characters, we are making the UI. Perfect. Now let's go and do the filtration or the search of our characters. So I will write search characters. And now first I will have a condition that if I have this search term, then what it should do, it should take this characters. On this it should have filter. The filter will have go through each and every character, and then what we want to do is, we want this character dot name dot includes, what it should include, it should include this search term. So if this condition will be true, it is gonna return us an array of search results, the matching one. Okay, but again we need to be very careful here, because this is a third party data. It could happen that it is case, it might have lowercase, uppercase, or anything. So what I will do is, before doing any search, I will do to lowercase, and here also. Okay, so this is done. So we got the search result here. Now all I need to do is just take this set characters, this state, and in this I will set this new array. Now what will happen, the moment this state will be updated, our components which is using characters will re-render, which in our case it is this card list. Okay, now we have to call this. So what we are gonna do is, we are gonna call this here when we are doing the search. So the user is typing and our search will happen. Now here I have written a if case. Now here what we are gonna do is, if it is gonna be blank, then what should happen? Then in that case it should update the state with the initial data. Okay, let's go back, refresh, and let's start typing. Rick, Monty, you can see this is working. So this is working fine. The only one thing I want to change here is, when there is no result, it is showing us this blank page. But what it should do is, it should show us no result. So what we are gonna do is, So this is done. We are gonna create a component here with name of error.jsx const and it will have error or no result. Perfect. Now I will go to the home. I will just copy this, import our error. Now what we are gonna do is we are gonna have one state which will say no results and set no results, and we are gonna put it false. And with this, what we are gonna do is we are gonna check here. So if search result, if this returned array's length is gonna be equal to 0, it will be true. So no result will become true. And then what we want to do is, if it is true, then it should show our error component. So we can have a condition here, error, and this. So let's go back and let's see if it is working. Rick, perfect. And let's see. Okay, error is not coming. Let's see why it is not coming. No results. In the error component, I missed writing return. And now if we will go back to the UI and we will do, so you can see our error is coming. We can do a little bit of styling here. So like we can have a red color. You can see the red color is coming. Let me just refresh it and you can see this is working. So our search is working fine right now. Let's go back and see. Okay, we have pagination, but before that I wanted to do one more small change. If we will go back to our UI, I will go to my DevTools. I will go to network, do a refresh. I want to show you that we have a result returning from API, which shows us that how many number of results we have. The count is 826. So we can definitely use this to show in our UI that how many characters are there. So what we can do is we can have a new state and we can have total results, put a setter function, and use this when we are doing API request, which is somewhere here. While we are doing this, we can come here and we can do response dot info dot count. If you will go back, you can see response info count. So this is what I'm looking for. And then we can go to our return statement, and here what I can do is first I need a condition. The condition is only when I have this total result, only then this data should come. So I will use AND operator and I will say total characters are, I'm gonna style this, so I will put it in a span, and for styling I can just have font black, bold, more bold than, basically it will come, it is more thick than the bold. So you can see total characters are 826. And what I will do is I will have some space also, so margin top 4. Perfect. So now this is looking much better. You can see this is looking much better. Now the next thing is we need to work on the pagination. So we need the pagination previous, next, and it should update that how many when we are doing page 1 to 2, it should show that. The good thing here in this API is if you will go back and check, you are getting total number of pages and you are also getting next and previous. So what it means is that we can use this information to create our pagination. Okay, so let's start with the pagination.